what we're going to do is we're going to do object number 6, and a couple things we want to do first is we want to make sure we've saved our document as object number 6, so last name object number 6. We want to make sure we're in the visible class, and we're also in the orthographic layer. We're going to start off with a rectangle tool in our top view because I think our top view gives us the most information out of all of the views. So we're going to make a rectangle here that is 3 5/8 inches wide by -7, and you're going to immediately see that this object is just massive, right? It's just massive. So now we know that we need to draw another rectangle here, and that rectangle needs to be it's going to be 3 5/8 again. And now we're going to stay in the negative, but in our negative on this one, we want to be 2 inches. Right, because it's we're showing on the right side view that it's 5 inches long on the top piece and 7 inches long overall. Therefore, we can go ahead and infer from that it's going to be 2 inches. We can take our move tool here. We're going to verify that corner into that corner. Everything's looking good there. It's now time for our 2 circles. I would draw the big circle first, so that's 1 inch and 3/8 in diameter. So if we don't want to have to know what that might be if we were to divide that in half, we can just go to the diameter tool and inch and 3/8. And then, we're seeing what that radius is over here now if we were interested in that. I can also draw my secondary one, which is going to be 7/8. Right, that one's a little bit easier with the 7/16 being the half. And then what I can do is I can put these two on top of each other. If I draw these out of order, if I draw the small one first and the big one, they will actually be stacked on top of each other, and you will not be able to view both of them simultaneously. Now that I select both of them, I'm going to grab it by its center point. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to verify to the top right just by hovering over top of it until it turns red, like it just did, and then doing the same thing down here until it turns red. And now what I've got is I've got that midpoint, and there is my top view. I'm going to select all of that. I'm just going to move that up just a little bit so I'm not losing that one line on my title block. From here, I'm going to be able to start doing some guidelines. And remember, you can just draw this big. It doesn't matter whatsoever. So I'm just going to draw this real big here. I've got 2 circles here that I'm trying to verify to. Now what I need to do is I need to look at my object, and it's going to be 3 5/8 by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go back to my visible class. And honestly, let's stay in the guide class for a second. Let's get another line, and let's do our trick from last one where we're just going to bring this down 1.5 inches or 1.5 inches, and now I've got that starting point for my rectangle. So there's my starting point. It's now something that I'm going to be able to click into. So I'm going to be 3 5/8, and then I want to be -1.5, and then there is my object right there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my line, and I can tell you 1.5 divided by 2 is 3/4. So if you just verify to that midpoint from left to right, that's going to give you that line. But if you wanted to, you could change your origin point here on the top plan and place your origin point down at the bottom or up at the top, and then verify in the object info that that is in fact 3/4 of an inch. What we're going to have here now is I'm going to grab some hidden lines, and my hidden lines are going to do some interesting things here. I'm going to have a hidden line here. I'm going to have a hidden line out here. We'll zoom into this so you can see that it's actually hidden lines. And then I'm going to have a hidden line here. I'm going to have a hidden line here. The hidden line for this portion here is going to have the visible line take priority. But now we can go to my center class, and in my center class, starting from just above and ending just below, and now I've got that nice center line going through that object. Back to the guide class, we're going to make our 45 and our transfer line. And from here, we're going to be able to make that right side view. I'm just going to bring this line over to kind of give me a stopping point. And we're going to bring this over. We're going to bring this over. I'm going to come back in here. We're going to do the circle. Now, I could sit here and draw in all of these. I can draw in all of these different guidelines over to tell me where my circle is going to be. I'll be honest, I'm just going to bring over the big ones because I'm just going to copy and paste what I have here. Because remember, a circle looks the same from the front as it does from the right side view. I'm going to take my 2D polygon tool in the visible class, and I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to bring this out. Oh, we're in the hidden class, aren't we? So I'm going to go back to the visible class. I thought I changed that. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw my box shape. There we go. And now I'm going to take my center line, my hidden lines, and we're going to be missing one here, and that's okay. I'm going to take that by that center point. I'm going to drop that in there on that center point, and then I'm going to bring this to my hidden class, grabbing my line tool again, and I'm just going to draw a line from here over to here. So now I've got that completed object. It's now time to clean this up a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is let's scale this. I'm going to go to, we had it listed on the document as being 1.75. I'm going to go up here to View, Class Options. I'm going to go to Active Only. We want to be in our guide class. We will select all of those and delete them. We're going to bring those views back. So Show, Snap, Modify, Others. And I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to use my Move tool, and we're just going to move this in the document so it's a little centered here. And then from here, what I'm going to do is my last step, I'm going to come down here and grab my center mark tool. I'm going to full screen this. Get my center class. I'm going to full screen this. And I'm going to grab my center mark tool, and I want it to go on the outside circle, right? Because I want it to go all the way through both of the circles, and they're both centered on each other, so we should only need one center mark there. And that's it. That's object number 6.